Hello, you lovely people. Yes, it's me yet again. And we're just going to have a look today. This is a video that has just been live streamed by, as we like to call them, the Con House. And basically, in it, he answers the questions that I put to him in the video yesterday with regards to the silver laws.
Don't always pay attention, do we?
So let's just skip on. This is right. This is him.
So the silver bars, they're not stamped 925 silver.
Okay.
They're stamped 999 silver.
So they're stamped 999.
So the deal is, I found somewhere, or I didn't find somewhere, to be fair.
Stop there. So if they've been stamped 999 silver, I would assume that that means either an assay office has inspected them and has what's the word, authenticated them as being 999 silver. Let's carry on.
One of you out there put me on to this person, and I have no objection to you knowing where I bought.
Let's pass the blame. Let's pass the blame.
Chris, if you've got that picture I sent you, Chris doesn't even know why I sent you the picture. I just said, can you put this up when I asked him? So there's a picture Chris is going to put up.
Here we go. Spend it or wear it coin art.
That's a group on Facebook. And one of you put me onto this because I said I was interested in doing a bit of silver and wanted to play around with it.
Okay, that's interesting.
And I was put onto this chap who does hand pouring. So this is where I get from.
Right.
And the price that he quoted me, because I know that you silver shot.
To be fair, it's not really relevant where you're getting them from. What is relevant is, are they assayed and hallmarked? Because that is the accusations that were put at you. So what we now have 5 or 10 minutes of rambling on about, I questioned the price of £79 purely because an ounce of silver I think the spot price was around about 18 quid. So what we have now is 5 or 10 minutes of him rambling on to say that actually you can buy silver at that price, and that comes in the form of shot pellets that is then smelted down and made into whatever. He goes on to say that he negotiated a price with this person of £25 per ounce of silver and £15 per bar to have it stamped with whatever nonsense that he wants to have on there, Mr. Happy, Mr. Grumpy, etc. That's what he says. So we'll just move on from that. I'll let you hear that. So it's 40 quid a bar he's paying.
What's called silver shot. So it's a little tiny and they've had a bit of stock there. It's been on the shelf for a couple of weeks, and suddenly they want to clear that and make room for some.
Yeah, we're not.
You know, 5 quid to 50 quid. It all depends on the coin. And as to what coin you're getting in this one, well, that's a mystery.
Yeah.
So as far as the stamp is concerned and the quality of the silver, I go by what my wholesaler tells me.
Yeah.
He's my wholesaler. He's the guy. He's not a wholesaler, but brilliant, Daniel. He's not a wholesaler. We'll add you to the wheels.
You've just said he is a wholesaler.
He's not a wholesaler as such, but he's my wholesaler because I buy from him and I sell to you or to someone else.
Okay.
So
shifting the blame.
Silver is down to him what he puts in. I trust him that what he says it is, and he stamps the back of the bars. He also stamps the back of the bars for me, and he numbers them. So that the number of the bar corresponds with the number on the COA. So it's all legal and above board.
So, well, is it though? Is it all legal and above board? Because what you're saying is this chap, and I do not know who this chap is, so I've got no sort of qualms with him. But what you're saying is that you purchase it from him, and you have no way of knowing other than his word. Somebody you don't know, somebody you've just met over the internet, and you trust him that he is giving you 1 ounce of 999 silver. It's done on trust, nothing else. Okay? And you are then marking that up at $79.95 and selling it as 1 ounce 999 silver, and we have only got your word to take on that. And where that's important is because you actually supply them with a certificate of authenticity, and that says on there that it's approximately 1 ounce of silver, 999 silver. So we are taking the word of you, taking the word of somebody else. It all sounds a bit shady and a bit dodgy to me, you know. If I'll give you an absolute crazy example. If I sold this to Bob and said, you can have that for 50 quid, Bob, but it's got £100 in there, and Bob said, okay, I'll take that, that's a good deal. If Bob then said to you, Mr. Scambert, I'll sell you that for £200, it's got £300 in there, would you believe him? Or I'll tell you what, let's keep it along your lines. I sell it to Bob for 50, saying it's got 100 in there. Bob buys it. Bob says to you, Scambert, you can buy that for 70, it's got £100 in there. Would you buy it? Would you heck? Because you're taking the word of somebody else and somebody else. You wouldn't buy it. But that is exactly what you are asking people to do with your silver bars. You are taking the word of somebody that you do not know and asking people to take the word of you, who actually is a convicted fraudster, you know. You went to prison for fraud. And that's not a secret, you know, everybody knows that. And you're asking people to take your word for that. So, is it really legal? Well, you know, I showed lots of information yesterday, and we'll get onto that a bit further on in the video, because apparently all of the information is not true.
Nothing to get excited about, nothing to get worried about. There's no illegalities going on. There's no... I mean, one of the things you have to...
Let's just stop. There's no illegalities going on. There's nothing illegal going on. Listen.
What my wholesaler tells me, and he's my wholesaler.
Listen.
He's the guy. He's not a wholesaler, but brilliant, Daniel. He's not a wholesaler. We'll add you to the wheels.
Yeah, just get on with it.
He's not a wholesaler as such, but he's my wholesaler because
okay.
I buy from him and I sell to you or to someone else.
Okay.
So the quality of the silver is down to him, what he puts in. I trust him that what he says.
Somebody you don't know, yeah.
And he stamps the back of the bars.
Yeah.
He also stamps the back of the bars for me, and he numbers them.
The numbers is irrelevant, isn't it?
Corresponds with the number on the COA.
Totally irrelevant.
Nothing to get excited about, nothing to get worried about. There's no illegalities going on. There's no.
Thank you.
I mean, one of the things you have to be really careful of when buying silver, especially in big silver bars, the big con that's going around at the moment is people making a silver bar and it's the outside that's silver and the inside is brass.
Never. Hang on. Didn't I say that in the video yesterday? Because I believe that I mentioned that in my video yesterday and then stated, I am not saying that is what is going on, but this is what can happen. So yeah, I know that I said that in yesterday's video, so thank you for the view, mate.
And of course you won't know. And a magnet doesn't stick to brass, and it doesn't stick to...
The Royal Mint must be really overcharging for silver and coins, not hallmarks, so illegal going by that argument.
Silver.
I think you find that coins are
The Royal
slightly
Mint must
different.
really be overcharging for silver,
Absolute
not hallmarks,
moronic
illegal
moron,
going by that
idiot.
argument. Well, you see, one of the things that I won't do...
And this is quite funny also. For anybody that follows me and watches my streams, you'll know that on a Saturday morning I generally do a live stream with somebody. I have no need to mention them because they're not involved in this. Unfortunately, they've caught COVID at the moment, so we're unable to join me on the stream this morning. And quite out of something totally different, we were talking about if you had money to invest, what is a good investment? And I said, it's funny you asked, because I've already had a video on my channel where I advise people, if they are looking to make an investment, buy bullion silver rather than silver proof coins from the mint or wherever. And I think I said on today's live stream, it's still up now, I thought I said there was £13 worth of silver in there. One of the viewers, again doesn't need to be mentioned who, corrected me and said there's actually about £8 of silver in there. Listen to this.
Is I won't profess to know about something I don't know about. I'm not a bullion dealer. I'm not a dealer of silver and gold. I'm a small-time dealer of silver at the moment, and a small...
Okay, so you've just said yourself you do not know about silver bullion, but you are absolutely cast iron saying there are no illegalities going on here. But you've already said there you know nothing about silver. Interesting.
Time dealer of gold, and even then, it's only really coins.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to the Royal Mint, what I can tell you is that if you want to go up this avenue of how much actual value of silver is in the item that you're selling,
this is very
in
interesting.
My case, what I'm selling for the 80 quid, number one, the actual value of the silver is probably around 25 quid if you was buying it wholesale. But as I say, whatever you turn it into, you've got to pay somebody to turn it into that item. Secondly, when you go and buy a silver coin and you get all excited about buying the new Peter Rabbit or Mrs. Tittlemouse silver coin, or Rosalind Franklin or Stephen Hawking silver that you pay 50 or 60 quid for, or even more.
Yeah,
and in the likes of Puddle Duck, some people are quoting prices of a couple of £100 now.
Well, that depends on the rarity of the coin, the collectability of the coin, etc. That's what raises the prices. It's not anything to do with the silver content. It's the collectability of the coin. But carry on.
Did you know that the actual value...
What's the betting he's going to say £8? He wouldn't, would he? He wouldn't say £8 surely, because that's what I said in my video this morning after I was corrected by a viewer. There's no way he could say £8.
Of the silver that is in that 50p coin is only about 8 quid.
What? No, I don't believe that. He didn't say that. He didn't.
Did you know that the actual value of the silver that is in that 50p coin is only about 8 quid?
So he's repeated what we said yesterday about fake silver bars, and now he's repeating what we said earlier on today on my live stream about the value of a silver bar. And what's actually very, very interesting there is that's kind of a sideways pop at the Royal Mint. They're selling a silver proof 50p coin that's only got £8 of silver in. Give you an example, a silver Taylor Gloucester silver proof 50p from the mint. Come in a very nice box. Nice little certificate of authenticity there. And then you have the ferry coin there. Lovely little coins. So it had £8 value is what you are saying. We've just heard it twice there. So would it surprise you if I told you he has and possibly still is attempting to sell those coins for £125? £125 is what he was selling them for. And you've just heard it there, £8 value.
8, 5, and 3, 8.
Well, he can count.
About 8 quid.
Okay.
So if you want to go down this road of, oh, that's terrible, you know, you ain't got to look any further than the Royal Mint, really. You know.
Well, no, because as I've just explained, it's about collectability. Example being the 16 Peter Rabbit that goes for absolutely insane amount of money, £400 the last time I was looking at it. You know, that's totally different. That is on a secondary market. That is not what they are selling it for, you know. And you're sitting here, this is where it's funny, you're sitting here mocking the Royal Mint. Listen.
You know, one of the things I don't do, which one of my competitors like Change Checker had this.
So mocking the mint because a coin has suddenly gone up to £400 in value, or they sold it for 50 quid or whatever. Yet he was happily selling them for £125. So, you know, make of that what you will. But anyway, moving on. Okay, so let's just move on to this part.
And in a way, you probably would be correct.
This is about
You
the
know,
COAs.
maybe they are, maybe they ain't. What that COA does, you have to decide whether that's worth the paper it's written. Because what that COA does is that COA tells you that I, personally, my business, me, Ian Lambert, guarantees that item to be 100% silver. And the one thing that you know about my guarantees is, if there's something wrong with that, you give it back to me. And again, I'm completely different to the Royal Mint and Change Checker and a lot of those businesses out there. You try and knock something back to them after a little while, and they'll go, oh, no, you can't knock it back to me. It's been a month, it's been 2 months,
Okay.
It's been 4 months. Right? But if I've sold you something that turns out to be duff, there is no time limit. None whatsoever.
Okay. Let's just stop you up on that one for a second then. I mean, I've mentioned this a couple of times in videos. I'm not sure if I've actually got the coins to hand. Let me pause you for a second and I'll bring you back. How stupid am I? They're right laying next to me. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 coins. You probably won't be able to see these, but that is in fact 5 Gruffalo coins that have all been individually stamped TGBCH. And if I can just spin that one around, that is a Stephen Hawkins that has also been stamped with a letter. Ephemera, and your COAs. Now, when you were selling these, you told us that these would double in value inside a year. Well, it's now been long over a year. Does it have a date on here? Yeah, the 1st of December 2019. So it's well over a year. Okay? And they haven't increased in value whatsoever. In fact, they have decreased. Now, you were selling these on your website for £39.95. I actually have, although there is only 6 of them there, I do actually have a 7th because I have a Kew Gardens somewhere as well. 2019 Kew Garden. So I would like to sell those back to you, Mr. Lambert, for the price that they were being retailed at, which was £39.95p each. I made that out to be somewhere in the regions of I can't find it now. I made it to be somewhere in the region of we'll get onto that in a minute. I made that to be somewhere in the region of 230 quid. So by all means, you are more than welcome to purchase all of these back from me. We'll round it off to £200. I'm a fair man. We'll round it off to £200. So let's move on. We've covered the COAs. We've covered passing the blame on to somebody else. Okay, so we move on to a bit later on in the video, and this part was really quite interesting.
We've got some thingies coming in, so we've got Lambert's like your suggestions.
Somebody has asked, do you mind me asking if your silver is hallmarked and assayed, as I saw a video that says that is the law? I assume you're talking about my video, UK Coin Hunter, so appreciate the few time fella, thanks for that. Let's hear.
Do you mind me asking if your silver is hallmarked and assayed? As I saw a video that said that is the law. No, I don't mind you asking.
Okay.
I don't mind at all.
What's the answer?
And that isn't the law.
Sorry? Hold on. Hold on.
The law. No, I don't mind you asking. Well, I don't mind at all. And that isn't the law.
Okay. That's him telling us it is not the law to be hallmarked and assayed. Okay, so you'll see here I have literally just googled assay law UK. Anybody can do this, and this is what will come up if you googled that. The law applies to everything sold in the UK regardless of where it may have been manufactured. The only exemptions are items which fall beneath the specified weight thresholds, which are 1 gram for gold, 778 grams for silver, 0.5 grams for platinum, and 1 gram for palladium, which we all went through those yesterday. So the very first one is hallmarking from the assay office. We'll click on that. The Hallmarking Act of 1973 was the culmination of a very lengthy and complex process involving over 30 statutes relating to hallmarking, some of which have been adjusted or partly repealed. Many included requirements inappropriate to the new economic and social situation. An overhaul of legislation was well overdue, and eventually the Hallmarking Act was passed in 1973 by a descendant of a family associated with the Birmingham Assay Office. So the new Act created the British Hallmarking Council, harmonised date, letters, simplified gold standards, and reinforced compulsory marking for gold, silver, and the first time platinum. Nowhere else in the world are consumers more highly protected than the UK. The UK is one of only a few countries in the world that have that compulsory statutory hallmarking. This is part of the Hallmarking Act 1973. You can read it there for yourself. This means that every item sold as precious metal, i.e. gold, silver, platinum or palladium, must have been tested and hallmarked by an independent third-party assay office to guarantee the precious metal is of the finesse stated. It's there in black and white, well, in blue and white. Every single item sold has to be tested and hallmarked by an independent third party. The law applies to everything sold in the UK, regardless of where it has been manufactured. The only exceptions are, which we spoke about on the previous page. If you continue reading further down, then this is more the hallmarking Act was slightly amended in 1998, because again, no doubt he's going to try and tell you that that hallmarking law is out of date or something. These were the changes made in 98. Standards to be expressed as parts per thousand on all metals, and that's where you get the 925 silver, the 999 silver, etc. That's where that now comes from, and this was in 1998 when it was now amended. Date letters are now optional, so you don't need to put date letters on there now. Pictorial fineness standard marks, i.e. lions for silver, crown for gold, or an orb for platinum, are now optional. Separate marks for imports were abolished, we're not interested in that, and new standards established for all metals. Again, a slight change in 2002. This was to do with assay offices, that they could operate a sub-office within the facility of a host company. So nothing particularly to do with any actual thing that we're concerned with. Again, amendments in 2007 of mixed metals. So again, mixed metals, not something we're interested in. Pre-1950s exemption, we're not interested in that because we're not discussing pre-1950s. Hallmarking of palladium, again, we're not interested in that. Hallmarking outside of the UK, again, we are not interested in that. So there you go. This is a basic outline of current legislation. This is on the assay website. You just saw I googled assay law UK, and we clicked on the first one, which is the assay law office in Birmingham, and it is the 1973 Hallmarking Act, and it's there plain for anybody to read. Yet you have just heard from its very lips, it doesn't have to be stamped. We'll just pop back.
Silver is hallmarked and assay, as I saw a video that says that is the law. No, I don't mind you asking. Well, I don't mind at all. Okay. And that isn't the law.
There we go. That is not the law. Well, you've just seen it for yourself there. We've googled assay law. So there we go. So the second one down is hallmarking, how businesses can comply with the law, and this is on the .gov website. So how businesses can comply with law. An explanation of why precious metal items are hallmarked, the standards hallmarking and the official symbols. That's just telling you, yeah, so basically it's pointing you to the Hallmarking Act of 1973. So again, it is telling you that the Hallmarking Act of 1973 is still the law that we abide by. Read further guidance on selling articles of precious metal on the internet. I don't know if I've seen any of this. Yeah, and it's going to give you a new PDF file to download. I've not actually seen this, so this could be quite interesting. Oh, here we go. And the very, within, and this, funny enough, is the British Hallmarking Council. So again, it talks about the Hallmarking Act. The Hallmarking Act of 1973 provides that it is an offence to describe in the course of a business or a trade any article is made wholly or partly of precious metal or palladium or platinum or silver or gold if that article is not hallmarked. It is an offence to supply in the course of business or trade an article described as made wholly or partly of precious metal if that is not hallmarked. And again, there are exemptions, but the exemptions are to do with the actual weight of the thing. And in this instance, for silver, it is 7.7 grams. We looked at it yesterday. I think, did we say it was about 32 grams for an ounce? So again, there is an exemption for articles intended to be dispatched outside of the UK. Again, not something that matters to us. Sales of jewellery via the internet will be conducted in the course of a business, and therefore hallmarking law will apply. Consequently, those businesses should ensure that any article described as made of precious metal, whole or part, should be hallmarked in accordance with the Hallmarking Act. So again, it just goes on to tell you exactly what I have been saying all along. Let's carry on.
Happens. Now, there is an assay office.
Yes.
And here's the thing about assayed silver.
I bet we're going to totally divert the topic away from are you doing anything illegal?
If silver has an assay mark,
Yeah.
I suppose what you could class that more as is belt and braces, right? That what you're buying is actually silver.
Well, yes, because an assay office, what they do, I don't know the entire process, but they put it through a machine or on a machine that tests the finesse of the silver or the gold or the platinum, and it will come back and tell you what that is. So yes, an assay mark is that exactly. You are spot on.
But it doesn't guarantee that the item that you're buying is silver.
But I don't understand. The whole point of an assay office is that they check the purity of a metal that has been sent to them to check.
Because, think about it, every item of silver that has got an assay mark, do you think that the manufacturer sends off every single item to the assay office for the assay office to give them a stamp?
Well, I mean, going on here, under the Act of 1973, it does say that every single item sold has to be assayed or hallmarked. And you're telling us no, it doesn't. So I'm a bit confused.
You know, it's not me being rude when I go, do you think that's what they do? I'm just saying.
I personally, yes, I would imagine that's what they do.
Don't. Think about it logically.
Yeah.
You know, a little pair of silver earrings,
Yeah.
that are in the shops for like $14.99, 25 quid. They couldn't possibly send off every single item to the assay office. And if they did, think of the retailers and the manufacturers nationwide that are every town in the country, every jewellers that's making and selling silver. They'd have to send their silver off to the assay office to get an assay stamp in order to say that it's assayed. That's not how it works. What happens is,
the actual assay office have just told us that is how it works. And you've already told us you know very little about the subject. Yet we should believe you. And I've just shown you the Hallmarking Act of 1973 that says that is what should happen. I've shown you it from the .gov website that says this is what should happen. Again, two totally separate articles from the ones I showed yesterday, but both saying exactly the same thing.
You will get them send a sample of their product over to the assay office.
Okay.
The assay office will then test that product, and they will decide whether they give it an assay stamp or not. And if they do give it an assay stamp, then you can stamp the rest of the product.
So
that doesn't guarantee the rest of the product.
But okay, so on that say so then, you have sent a sample of yours to be assayed, I assume.
Is assayed. So
I would imagine
it's one of those things that's like, I don't know, it's like the British Standard now, you know, or
why?
There used to be a federation of builders.
Yeah.
Some of you that were in the building game would know this. There used to be a federation, right? It was a federation of master builders or something like that. So then you had this period where people would go, well, if you're not a federation member, you're not a proper builder. Well, to become a federation member, all you need is a checkbook, fill in a form, and you're a member.
I don't understand.
Mean that you're a proper builder. What makes you a proper builder is the fact that you do your job properly.
Oh, hold on. So are we saying that the people that I've read this from, hang on, let's just go back and see what website this was on that I've just read this from. The Got Duff website. So you're telling us that they're not a genuine organisation, and the same to go with the, what was the other one I read it from? The assayoffice.com. You're saying, oh, okay. For some reason it won't load that one now. Will it again? Let's try it. Yeah. So the assayoffice.com, you're saying these aren't a legitimate organisation. I mean, your words, you are comparing them to an organisation that basically you paid a couple of quid to and you will remember. You're saying they're not a trustworthy organisation.
So what you've heard is not correct.
Okay.
And there are people out there that lead people like you right up the garden path. Because
I assume you mean I lead people up the garden path. Okay.
They give you church. They give you false information mixed in with a little bit of truth.
Hang on. Everything that I have said, you have said is lies or is not true. What is the little bit of truth then? Because you haven't said any of it is truth. Even though I have shown it to you on the assay.com website and the gov.website, and you are still sitting there as bold as brass saying it is not true. Okay.
Right. And so when you
see, I love this. This is when these pauses come. He's really struggling. He doesn't know what to say, and he's caught, and he's quickly trying to think of an answer.
Right. And so when you mix in a bit of fiction with a little bit of truth,
yeah,
it can come across like the person knows what they're talking about, and actually they don't.
Okay,
some people will sit there and go looking things up on the internet and then start reading what it says on the internet. They have absolutely no comprehension of what they're reading.
Okay. And I hold my hands up. With regards to silver and the laws and legislations behind it, until this weekend, I was pretty damn clueless. I watched quite a bit of silver pouring and making it out of the sand moulds. I love it. I think it's fantastic. It's interesting. It's great. That's as far as I knew. I do recall having a conversation with the silver pourer a few months ago about the issues surrounding assays in the UK, and he was saying it's an absolute minefield. at the time. So that was as far as my knowledge went. And then I went and did some research this weekend. And again, you know, I hold my hands up. If I get it wrong, I get it wrong. I'm not afraid to admit that. I would imagine, I know the assay offices are quite a prestigious organisation, quite a prestigious entity, if you will. So I would assume that reading information on their website, I would take that as being spot on and crystal clear, because if you're telling me that is not the case and it is all lies, that the information that I have read out, I would have a great deal of difficulty in believing that for two reasons. And the first one would be that, quite simply, I do not believe that somebody like the assay office would have false, it's not misleading, let's get it right, you are saying it is false. I do not believe they would have false information on their website that could possibly lead people to break the law. I do not believe for a single second that they would have that. Throw into the mix also what we have read on the gov.uk website. Again, that is very much mirrors what the assay office is saying. So again, you're asking me to consider the fact that the assay office website is wrong. A very, very small possibility. You're then asking me to accept that the gov.uk website is also false and leading people down a criminal path. Again, very, very, very tiny possibility you could be right. The possibility of you being right and both of them are doing the same thing at the same time, I find near on impossible. And then throw into that, you are then asking me to disbelieve everything that they have said and believe you, a convicted fraudster, over them. Why would I do that? That doesn't make any sense at all, and I do not know anybody that has one iota of a brain cell that would believe you over them. And I would actually question it and go that little step further and state that if anybody is choosing to believe them over, believe you over both of those organisations, because this is not about me. This isn't about me against you or me against whatever. This is you stating that both of those organisations are wrong. I would go that stage further and not only say they do not have a brain cell, I would go that stage further and say those people are in serious, and I don't say this lightly, serious need of help, because they are being manipulated and brainwashed. They are being taken advantage, and I make these accusations not lightly. They are being taken advantage of, manipulated and brainwashed into your way of thinking. And your way of thinking is everybody else is wrong and you are right. Everybody else is wrong, I am right, give me your money.
They haven't taken it in, they don't understand it, they don't understand what they're reading,
Okay.
they're just going blah, 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 you know.
So some of your bars have been sample assayed. This is obviously a response to the question. He was saying not every single item is assayed. It is just some items. You know, you heard that yourself just now. So UK Coin Hunter has responded and asked him.
So some of your bars have been sample assayed. No, not at all. Because you.
So he's just said, what he said previously was, you don't send everything to them, you send a sample, that gets assayed, and if it passes, you can stamp all of your bars. That's what he said. But he's now telling us, no, none of his bars have actually been sample assayed.
In order to probably make somebody look bad.
Nobody needs to make you look bad, Ian.
So some of your bars have been sample assayed. No, not at all. Because you don't have to assay silver.
Okay.
You don't have to do that.
Right.
And I don't need to do that because I trust the person that's making it for me.
It's not about trust.
You might have missed it.
No, we did see it. We did see it.
This is where I bought.
It's not about trust, it is about laws. Your words, legalities.
I have no idea specifically what they're talking about, but what I can tell you is that you are trying to box me into a corner to make me trip myself up, which is not going to happen. Because what you're basically asking is, does an item need to be assayed in order to be sold as silver? And the answer to that question is no, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. And yet here it tells you everything sold in the UK, regardless of where it's been manufactured, has to be hallmarked, assayed, etc. The whole thing, you know. So I just don't really understand, even now, where this moron is coming from.
You don't have to assay every single item in order to sell it as silver.
I've got to say...
And it doesn't have to have a 925 stamp either. Mine have got a 991 stamp.
Which is saying it's better
but
than
if
a
you want to
925.
believe, you know, all of that, then you go ahead and believe it. I'm not that bothered.
I'm actually really pleased that he's saying this, because essentially what he's saying is nothing, you don't need to do anything to the silver. I mean, why is he even bothering to stamp it 999? Because it's pointless. Nobody has verified that's 999 other than him by giving you that COA. When he gives you that COA is him telling you that silver bar is 999 silver. I would be very interested on getting a couple of them tested, because if it comes back and it's not, that's on him. There's no other reason to stamp it 999, because he's told you that it doesn't have to be, and it doesn't have to be hallmarked. It's just... But as I said, I'm really pleased to have done this. Again, there will be links in the description to Trading Standards and Dorset Council, and I urge you, please drop them an email and report this, and we'll find out one way or another. What I'm really pleased about, whoever this person is questioning, absolutely fantastic. I couldn't have done it better myself, because what we've actually got him sitting here multiple times saying, I don't need to hallmark it or assay it. Multiple times he says it. So I just hope that people do use the email address and drop them an email.
Do you know what I mean? What I care about is I care about my customers. And I'm not being funny, and I mean no disrespect by saying this, but you're not exactly one of my customers. I don't mind answering a couple of questions, and I've done that.
I think it's getting a bit narky now.
So if you think you're going to be able to come into the stream and trip me up and wind me up and get me angry and and get me going about spat between several people and mentioning names and all that kind of stuff. It's not going to.
I don't think anybody's mentioned
I'm
any
not going to
names.
react in that way. What?
Oh. Okay, I think we're.
Are my staff
maybe he hasn't paid his Sky bill again.
sold? No, it doesn't. Does silver have to come with a COA? No, it doesn't.
Nobody's questioning the COAs. We were questioning assay and hallmarked.
So there you go. There's the answer to your questions.
Thank you. I appreciate you answering them.
A hallmark is a legal requirement, and mine are hallmarked. Mine have got hallmark, and they're hallmarked 999. So no.
Hang on. Oh, yours have got a hallmark.
A hallmark is a legal requirement, and mine are hallmarked. Mine have got hallmark, and they're hallmarked 999.
Okay.
So no, I haven't assayed any of my silver bars, and I'll tell you something else for free too.
So hang on. This is current legislation for hallmarking, the Hallmarking Legislation Act, and we've already, read it. Every item sold as precious metal must have been tested and hallmarked by an independent third-party assay office. So what he's doing here, he is now throwing his supplier under the bridge. Is exactly what he's done there. He has just said his supplier stamps it 999. And that's a hallmark. It's not a hallmark.
I have absolutely no intention of assaying any of my silver bars. It's too expensive.
Fantastic.
You go ahead and you go and try it. The thing is, what you've got is you've got a few people out there that want to specifically pick on me. You've got you've got 10,000 silver sellers out there, and the stuff that they sell is not always assayed. Yes, it has to be hallmark, it has to have a silver mark, and yes, gold has to have a mark. You have to be hallmark, yes.
Okay.
And mine are. They're stamped 999 silver. That's about as good as you can get.
That's as good as you can get. Even though the Hallmarking Act of 1973 states every item must be tested and hallmarked by an independent third-party office to guarantee the precious metal. And yet he is still now, even having been told so many times, sitting there and denying it. I find this man incredible. Absolutely incredible.
999 is not a hallmark. Well, okay, if you say so. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to let you come into my stream and cause an argument between me, my customer.
It's not arguing, mate. 999's not a hallmark, it's a fact.
Or anything else. If you think you know better, then don't buy it. I mean, that's the key.
But that's not really an answer, is it? That's like saying I bought a Mercedes S-Class yesterday. The wife took it down to the garage. She was only 100 yards down the road and it blew up and killed her. And Mercedes turning around and saying to everybody else, well, sorry, if you don't like the car, don't buy it. We're not going to do anything about having a look at it, see what might be wrong with it, just don't buy it. That's an absolutely throwaway comment, and anybody, if you're a customer or not, if you've just heard that comment there, should be singing or warning you massive alarm bells.
Isn't it? Do you know what I mean? There's a dish. and that dish is
Oh,
called
God.
liver and bacon. Some of you are going to go, ooh,
Oh,
dear.
liver. So
Liver
don't
and
buy
bacon.
it.
Ooh, yum, yum, yum,
What
yum.
an absolute plonker.
Some of you are going to go, ugh. I'm one of those people that will go, ugh. I don't like liver and bacon. So do you know what I don't do, Mr. Coyno?
Go on.
I tell you, I never ever go into a cab or a restaurant
and buy it.
I never order liver and bacon.
And that is the whole aim here. You are simply breaking the law. Now, we showed you yesterday the assay office. Yesterday we showed you Trading Standards website, the assay office, and the .gov website. 3 what I would consider to be up there organisations in the UK. And basically you are saying they are all wrong. That, or you are saying that I have somehow manipulated this video and put that onto there to look like it's on their website. Well, fair play. So all anybody needs to do is Google Assay Law UK. Okay, I'm using a Google Chrome website, and just Google Assay Law UK, and you'll see it all coming up everywhere. Okay, how this man can sit there and deny it. It's funny, I had a conversation this morning with somebody about this, and I said, you know, even if I was in his situation now, even if I didn't believe what I was being told, the absolute bare minimum I would do is I would quickly go backstage and I would check my information, you know. To totally disregard it is horrific, because that's clearly what he's done. Because if anybody had done any sort of research into this, they'd have found the law and they would have just taken the product off of sale. So to just disregard it and come on a live video and continually tell you that there is nothing wrong with what he's done or doing and it is perfectly legal is absolutely horrific. And I just, you know, I urge anybody, I get people don't believe me, I fully expect that, so do your own research. Google Assay Law, Hallmark Law UK, but be specific, it must be for the UK, because the laws are different in different countries. So please do make sure that you Google it for the UK, because it's totally different throughout the world. Okay, and then make your own mind up, and when you have done that and you've come back and you've made your mind up, then come back and please leave a comment on this video, because I would be intrigued to know if people have done that and what people have found out. Because trust me, if I am wrong, I will make a video and say that I am wrong. But from the information that I have researched and found, he is breaking the law. As simple as that. And I urge anybody, please stop buying from him. It is illegal what he is doing. So sorry it's rambled on for so long. I didn't intend to, but yeah, thanks for watching. The rest of it is just sort of his chocolate drawer and that nonsense for out-of-date chocolate, that he doesn't tell you whether it contains nuts, whether it's any good for celiacs, anything like that. You know, again, I think it's a bit shady, but you know, it is what it is. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you guys soon.